Hello, thanks for coming back. Today I want to talk to you about reusable food wrap. And it's made with beeswax. This is one that I purchased and I subscribe to Mighty Fix. And once a month they send me a package, and it's a surprise package. There is one of their reusable eco-friendly products in every package, and it's really fun. I've been able to sort of build up my my reusable food storage cache, if you will. So the beeswrap is really nice. I've looked at it a lot over the last year or so at my local food co-op, and it's really cool. I love the idea, but it's always been a little bit financially a little spendy, let's just say, because it's hard to say anything else apparently. Anyway, so it cost a little bit more than I was willing to spend, but it came in my Mighty Fix, so that was really cool. But what's really funny is that just about a week before the Mighty Fix arrived, I decided to try it myself. So this is a piece of fabric that I ironed beeswax and coconut oil into, and it holds really, really well. You can see you can kind of mold it around itself. I'll show you how to put it on the bowl afterwards, but I wanted to show you how to make one of these because it's really economical. So this cover that I made, and this is really large, this is enough, this is probably big enough to wrap an entire commercial loaf of bread in. So I wanted something really big that I could wrap a lot of things in. So I'll show you how this affixes to your bowl once we make one, but first I'm going to show you how I get the coconut oil into my beeswax. These are organic beeswax pellets, and I got these at my local food co-op also. Make sure you get organic. It will be probably touching your food. If you don't care that it's not organic, then that's fine too. I myself don't want any extra nonsense. And you probably know that beeswax isn't vegan. However, I am haunted by the image of that sea turtle with the straw embedded into its sinus. And I think if I can stop from contributing to that, I think that may be better than... Anyway, the ethics and morals. This is a really cool thing though, and it's super satisfying. Alright, so in this bowl I have 1/4 teaspoon of coconut oil, and this is 2 tablespoons of beeswax pellets. This is plenty, I think, for the project that I'm going to make. And the project I'm making is, I just used this as an example of size. Not sponsored, I don't know if I need to say that, but I know I'll be wrapping that up when I'm finished. So this is some fabric that I got once I figured out how to make these. So cute. Bumblebees. Love it. So I just laid my fabric out, and then I wrapped my fabric around my product, and I can see that I have plenty of overhang to seal that up when I'm done with it. I can use this on top of anything else. I can use this for anything that will fit inside of it. That's just a good rule of thumb there. Just so I know at least it fits something. It would be kind of heartbreaking to spend the time and see that you can only store something like that. You know, that's annoying, right? Okay, I'm going to set up for the next phase. Right, so this is the setup. So just beginning here, we have on my large bamboo cutting board, because it's a nice stable surface, I'm putting 1 large piece of parchment paper down, and I don't know if you can see, but it's the one that I've been using. I don't care about that wax there. It's going to go into the back side of my fabric, and you can reuse your parchment paper over and over. And then I'm going to lie down my project, and I'm going to start in the middle because the wax is going to melt, and it's better to have it on a surface that you've prepared the melting for. All right, we're going to put some of these on to the fabric, and I'm going to give a little bit of a seam allowance, I guess, of that. It doesn't need to be quite as intense as this, so you can kind of spread it out a bit. We'll continue on with that. So I'm just really going to put the product, the beeswax, on the area that I'm going to work on immediately, just for ease of what I'm, managing my project size. Project size is a big deal for me because I have a tiny kitchen. Someday I will show you the panoramic view. It will be shocking. All right, I've got my Junkie Craft iron plugged in. You'll see it. It's nothing special. It's junky. It's for craft. All right, so we're going to put our paper back over, the parchment paper. All right, and on, I guess, a medium heat, we've got our iron. It doesn't have to be real hot, just hot enough that you can feel the wax melting underneath it. It'll have just a small give to it. And we're just going to move the iron around on the heat. You can see that it's starting to seep out. Maybe you can. I hope my camera is good enough. And we're just going to go ahead and melt that into our fabric. Can you tell where it's melted in? Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, and I let it sit there, and that's fine. So we're going to continue to just iron the wax right into the fabric. It's super satisfying because you were never supposed to do it, right? Mom always said, don't get candle wax on the linen tablecloth. I don't know if your mom ever said that, but I did. So there we have a whole bunch of wax in that fabric. So we're going to continue moving around with the project. Let it just kind of replace it. So we'll peel it off from the parchment, carefully putting it elsewhere. Now I had a lot of wax in here, so I'm going to try and coax that wax to the other side. And I'm just going to take my iron and with some firm pressure and just a bit of a slow motion, just press along the edge of your project. And you'll begin to see that it's melted in there. You can see how it's darkened where the heat has been. I like to make sure and iron it right out to the edges because I don't want to salvage, I don't want to hem the edge. So I'm going to rely on the wax to keep the fabric from fraying. So you'll feel where there's little knobs of beeswax pellets inside of there. And you can just continue to move that around and spend as much time as you want. This can be very meditative and very, very satisfying. Super fun to do. I love it. So you can see that all of that is all waxed up. You can see on the back side it's also waxed up. This will cool in not too long of time. It doesn't matter. If you wanted to use it, you know, tonight for your dinner, you could. All right, so we need a little bit more wax over here. I think I was right about how much wax was needed. Maybe we might need a little bit more. Just all guesstimation. I guess with most things I would probably say go small, you know, for your estimation. You can always make more of the product, of, you know, whichever it is. As long as you have more materials, you can make more of your oiled beeswax. Again, the oil is in there to make the wax a little bit more pliable. It stays together a lot better in the fridge and outside of the fridge. I don't want to criticize a company that's already got their product out there and marketed and is wonderful and lovely, but I do find that my product stays on my bowl a bit better than the bees wrap. It's not going to keep, you know, chili inside of it with no bowl underneath it, but it does a very serviceable job of holding things inside of it. I've got one that's holding my vegan cheese in the fridge right now. Okay, so I really just have a small amount left here. I just have this little corner up here and this edge. This corner here and then this edge up here. Continue doing that. So the reason this is my craft iron is you can see that the parchment on top is getting darker, and that is because it has a tiny bit of wax on it from previous projects, and I don't care. It's not transferring onto the parchment or onto the fabric at all. It's just on the parchment, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to reuse this anyway. So, and you want to keep your, one thing to remember is that beeswax is flammable, so don't leave your iron on it forever. Be careful with, you know, be mindful of how you're heating your beeswax. You don't need to melt your wax to get the coconut oil in it, except for in the thing, you know, in the bowl like I did there. But do be careful. Don't leave your stuff unattended. Don't start a fire. It's a bummer. All right, so we're pretty good. I'm just going to tidy up these little edges around here and finish it up, and then I'm going to show you how it wraps around a vessel. All right, so you can see that I have really made sure that wax got into the edge of the fabric. So now it's going to be completely waxed to the outside. And now is the time to see how we did. Here's our product. We'll just bend this over. Real easy like. And here is kind of the cool part. With just the heat of your hands, you're able to seal that a little bit. And then I like to also run the seal down here, down the edges, and then we're just going to fold this up and over. And again, we're just going to press and warm that. It's not actually infusing to itself, but it's sticking to itself. So just continue on like that. And if you feel like being fiddly, you can fiddle out the air in the corners there. But pretty much that is my wrapped product. So it stays in pretty good. Pretty good, but you're not going to be throwing your food around in your fridge, I don't think. It'll certainly keep your food safe inside there. So let's see what it looks like going around a round thing. That's pretty easy. Here, let's have some sugar. So we'll put the bees wrap on there, and what I like to do is start in the corner here and just bend it around itself until you get it to form the shape, whatever shape the fabric wants to go into. So this might be a little large for this jar, but I want you to see how easy it is to get it to mold to it. You can surely put the wax down and around the bottom too, and that's going to help, you know, seal that in. So there we go. It stays to itself pretty darn quick. This whole project took me about 15 minutes. It cost me about $2 for this wrap. And I don't have to buy plastic wrap for a year. This will last about a year. I can wash this with not hot water because the beeswax will melt, but I can wash this with tepid water and soap and reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. I can avoid buying plastic wrap. I can avoid buying foil for wrapping things. So that makes me really happy. Plus it's really fun. It's really satisfying to watch the wax melt, and there is a degree of naughtiness melting wax into fabric. You just weren't supposed to do it. So anyway, I hope you try it out. It's really fun. It's really fun, and save a sea turtle or whoever. It's better. We can do better. And this is just one little way to do it. And this is an economical way to do it. Not everybody can afford a subscription to an eco-friendly product company. Although Mighty Fix is pretty inexpensive. It's $10 a month for me. This is not a sponsored video, but it would be cool if it were. At any rate, here we go. I hope you try it. Let me know if you tried it. Please comment, like, and subscribe, because that's how we roll around here. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.